Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, my favorite video of the week to make over here. Yesterday, Thursday, is my least favorite video of the week to make over here. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's about a lot of change and growth and stuff like that, doing my my weight loss journey, but I'm always like so anxious to make that video. But then I turn around and on Fridays, I get to announce the movie for the week, and I'm so excited to announce this week's movie. I mean, really, really excited. In fact, I was on a vlog a while ago, and I was talking about this movie and how much I've always loved this movie. My mom loved this movie. It won an Academy Award. We were so excited when it won an Academy Award, and I can remember watching the Oscars with my mom, and it's such an endearing movie. It's such a moving movie. It's such an emotional movie, and it's literally a life-changing movie. And so I'm really excited to pick it. I didn't even know that it was on Tubi. So for those of you that have never come over for Peter's Movie Club before, welcome to Peter's Movie Club. Every Friday, I review the video, or the video. I review the movie from the week before, and then I talk about and announce the movie for the upcoming week, or this week that we're going into. And so I've loved this. We have so far watched, I think, like 11 or 12 movies over here, and I'm having so much fun. So for those of you that don't know, I'm picking movies that had some kind of importance to me in my past, or some kind of, like, I have some memory connected to it, or it impacted me in some kind of way. And it's interesting, the movies that I've picked so far. Like, I've kind of picked movies that are kind of like far out there reaches, like movies that, like, I remember and they kind of had an impact on me, but, like, you know, or I've referenced from time to time, but not movies that, like, directly are my favorites. I think the closest I came to that was Waiting to Exhale and How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Those are movies that, you know, have been my favorites for years and years and years, and I've shared with you that it was interesting watching Waiting to Exhale again because it didn't, like, hit the same as it had years before. So over here from Peter's Movie Club, I've chosen to use the streaming app Tubi. Obviously, you can watch these movies in a lot of different places, not just Tubi, but Tubi is a free streaming app in Mexico, the United States, and Canada, and it's coming to the UK. I think it's in other places in the world as well. They have so many, and no, this is not sponsored, I wish it was. They have so many free movies over there. They have so, and the way that they pay for it is with advertisements. There's, like, all these rumors that Tubi is going to, like, be a paid service. There's no truth to that. If that happens, it's not going to happen this year. So, so that you, like, in the movie I watched this week's movie last night, The Man in the Moon, I think it had, like, 2 ads in, like, an hour and 49 minutes. So it's really not that bad. Sometimes there's, like, 2 ads back to back that add, like, equal 30 seconds, but it's not, I, like, go in the kitchen and get, like, you know, something to drink and come back and whatever, and so it's fine. I have to tell you, so they just released a bunch of movies. They'll, like, a movie will leave and then they'll bring it back the next month. Like, How Stella Got Her Groove Back left, and it's back already. So, but last night I was looking through the new releases, and I added, like, 6 movies to my list, and they're 6 of, like, my favorite movies of life. Okay, so going forward, going into June, my birthday month, I wanted to pick movies this month that specifically were, like, my favorite movies, or have been movies that I have watched over and over and over again my entire life, or movies that really impacted my life in a deep way. Like, I wanted to pick meaningful movies this month for my birthday month. My birthday is June 29th. So I wanted to pick, like, really meaningful movies this month. I now have probably, it's funny how, like, how many movies I have on this list, and that I keep on adding movies to this list, and how many favorites I have. So I kind of had to move some things around last night. I had them all, like, what movies I had picked for this month, but then I saw some new movies came out, so I was like, okay, I'm going to add this here and move this here and whatever. So I'm very excited about the movies this month, but the movies for July and August are going to be great too. So I have really, really good movies coming up the rest of this summer. You're not going to want to miss them. Some of them are Academy Award winners. Some of them are movies that you can't stream anywhere else except for Tubi unless you pay to rent them. And a lot of them, or most of them, that I'm going forward are going to be, like, favorites of mine that have, like, impacted me in a really, really strong way. So last week's movie was The Man in the Moon with Reese Witherspoon. I think it came out in, like, 1991. I kind of forgot that I had to watch it until, like, 2 nights ago, and so I put it off until last night. My husband and I finished the TV show Palm Royale on Apple TV, and then he went to bed, and I stayed up, and I watched The Man in the Moon, and then I started watching another show after that. So I have to tell you, I think I've only seen this movie. I thought I had seen it more than like, I thought I'd seen it like 2 or 3 times. It was a good movie. It was interesting because when I talked about it last week, I said that you're just going to get the truth about these movies. Like if it's a movie that I've always loved and I go back and I watch it and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't hit the same, I'm going to say that, right? But like when I read it last week, it was like Roger Ebert had come out and said it was like one of the best top 10 movies of that year and stuff like that. So, you know, I watched this movie last night. I kind of remembered what it was about. I remembered that it was about Reese Witherspoon, and she's like 14, and she gets a crush on this guy, and then her sister falls in love with him, and I knew that there was some like tragic accident that happened. And that's exactly what the whole story is about. It's like she and her parents live on like, you know, out in the country, and then her sister's like 3 years older than her sister Maureen, and she kind of like has this crush on this guy that's like a family friend's son that moves in next door and all this kind of stuff. And then her sister falls in love with him and they develop a relationship. And then at the end of the movie, all of it really happens, honestly, like in the last 20 minutes of the movie. I was kind of surprised. Like the whole lead up to the movie is really talking about Danny, who is Reese Witherspoon, and like her relationship with her family. Tess Harper, I love Tess Harper. She's one of my favorite actresses of life. She plays her mother and she's pregnant in it. And, Danny's kind of like this wild child that's kind of like trying to find herself, and so she like starts having this friendship with the neighbor whose name is Court, and it's the son of like the family friends that used to live there, and then they moved back in after the father passed away. And so she kind of like over time falls in love with him. That's like the first hour and 10 minutes of the movie. The sister actually doesn't come into the picture until about, I mean, she's in the movie, but she doesn't like actually even meet him until like 25 minutes before the movie's over. And then they have this very quick like love affair that lasts like 5 or 10 minutes. And then he has this tractor accident where he's reaching for this hat and he falls off of this tractor and the tractor runs over him. It's horribly tragic. And then they're very upset about it. And the funeral's like 2 minutes. And then it's like she is like really upset with her sister still for being in love with him. And then is she going to forgive him? And then she forgives him. She forgives her. And she's like, the very last line is something like, will we always talk to each other? Maureen, will we always talk to each other? Like, they live on... What I remembered about this movie is so funny is that they sleep on the front porch of their house because it's so hot because it's summertime. I don't know how I remembered that. It's something I would have wanted to do as a kid. And my mom liked to take the sleeping bags outside and sleep outside and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of like my connection to this movie because I have to be honest with you, it's not a bad movie. Like, it was a good movie, but... it's definitely not a movie that I feel like I ever need to watch again in my life. Like, I always ask myself this on these movies. Like, I know the movie that I picked for this week will be a movie that I'll watch 10 more times in my life. Unless I watch... It's been a couple years since I've watched this week's movie, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it's been a lifetime favorite of mine. But anyway, so, you know, I got done with... I was like halfway through the movie, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to see this movie ever again. It's okay. I wouldn't say, I don't know, like, I didn't, like, I got done with it, and I just was like, okay, I mean, like, it was just like that, you know, and in fact, I was like, I finished it, and I was kind of like, I almost, like, for people that haven't, I actually got a lot of DMs about this, and people were like, thank you for introducing this movie, and whatever. It's interesting, the movies that people, like, DM me, and they'll be like, thank you so much for introducing this movie to us, blah, blah, blah. Like, Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, I got a lot of DMs about that. Teen Witch, it was, like, very split DMs. Some people were like, oh my god, I don't know how you love this movie, like, I hated this movie, and I couldn't keep up with it at all, you know, and other DMs were just, you know. So it's interesting the movies that people, like, DM me about or comment about and say that they really loved. I got a few comments from this that people were like, thank you for introducing me to this movie, and I got done with it, and I was like, I almost feel like I have to apologize, because this movie it just really wasn't that great. Like, it was okay, I don't know, like, you know, I graduated in 1990, there were a lot of movies that came out before and after that, and around that time, that I feel like were much better than this. I would not say it was in the top 10 list of any year, I just wouldn't say that, you know, and Roger Ebert, I knows his stuff, but I'm kind of surprised. I almost went in and looked to see what other movies came out that year, because I was like, I mean, it's a good movie. Like, it's a heartfelt movie. I think it's learning lessons about forgiveness and about, you know, like, family and things like that. But past that, like, it's very fast movie. Like, the lead up to it is kind of so boring, the development of her friendship with this Court guy, and then the relationship and the death, like, I wish I would have focused more on that at the end of the movie. So anyway, it was just kind of like, if I were going to give it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 6. It was just okay. I mean, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but I won't watch it again. I mean, unless, like, somebody's like, do you want to watch Man on the Moon? I'd be like, yeah, I guess I'm not going anywhere else, right? So it was just okay. I'd be really interested for those of you that watched it to let me know what you thought in the comment section. So, okay, so that was was The Man in the Moon. That was last week's movie. So now I want to get to this week's movie, okay? Now, I'm very specifically picking the movies for this month. I'm trying to pick favorites, like all-time favorites of mine, okay? Which is interesting because, you know, my all-time favorites movie kind of range. I actually moved one off the list, but I'm not going to share with you what it is because it's still one of my favorites, but I'm trying to like pick more meaningful movies for this month, and it's not a super meaningful movie, but it's one of my favorite movies. Not all of my favorite movies are like super meaningful. For example, now I'll say this and it'll come on Tubi, but one of my probably top 3, top 5 movies of life is Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer, and it's about this guy that's in an unhappy marriage, and so he plans to like fly to Las Vegas because Dan Aykroyd is his friend, and he tells him like, you should go to Vegas for the night and just be wild and whatever. And so he goes to the airport, and Michelle Pfeiffer comes running out of the airport, and she's being chased by these guys, and she's smuggled these crown jewels out of Iran. And so it's like them going through Los Angeles and all these people trying to kill her and get these jewels, and there's like cameo performances by a bunch of actors and actresses in it, and it's just like them on the run. I love that movie, and I can remember like and I love the soundtrack to it, and it's a lot of like blues, a lot of Motown and stuff like that. And when I was like watching that movie like in high school, like it was like, or junior high even, I think it was like an escape for me, like escape from like all the crap that was going on in my life, that I felt like it just to like be on the run for like one night, this exciting night, like this adventure. I think that's why it still like resonates with me, you know? So movies do different things for us. The movie for this week is a movie that I remember watching it with my mom for the very first time. I remember watching the Academy Awards. I remember my mom getting up and cheering. It was unbelievable. And the movie is Trip to Bountiful. Trip to Bountiful is probably one of my all-time favorite movies of life. And if you've never seen it, it was an independent film that came out years ago. It's based on a Horton Foote play. And it's starring Geraldine Page, one of the greatest actresses ever. And it is one of the most unbelievable movies of life. So let me read you the synopsis of Trip to Bountiful. Carrie Watts, played by Geraldine Page, may be old, but she suffers no shortage of spirit. When her carping daughter-in-law, Carlin Glenn, and overprotective son, John Hurd, forbid her to travel alone from Houston to her childhood home in Bountiful, Texas, she strikes out anyway. Learning that trains no longer stop there, she takes a bus instead, and en route meets a young woman, Rebecca De Mornay, of Risky Business, with whom she shares both secrets and memories. Little does she know that her family has alerted the police. And so it's about this old woman, and her name is Carrie, and she wants to go home to her. So she lives in Houston in this like apartment with her son and her daughter-in-law, who that she doesn't get along very well. She says her daughter-in-law just like goes and drinks Cokes at the beauty shop every day and things like that, and so she and her daughter-in-law don't get along very well. Her son's trying to get like a promotion so that they can move into a house and he can take care of her mom. And all she wants to do is go back and get her hands in the ground so she can like grow something one last time and see her hometown of Bountiful, Texas, which is a small town. She wants to see it one last time before she dies. So it's her kind of like being on the run, and common theme here, right? Her being on the run and like taking buses to get there and stuff like that, and trying to get back to Bountiful, Texas. And it's like most of it takes place at night. And so like she meets Rebecca De Mornay, who is, she's just recently gotten married, and her husband has gone off to war. And so they have this conversation on the train, and then she helps her afterwards because she like, some stuff happens. I won't tell you what it is. But anyway, Rebecca De Mornay, who is in Risky Business. Now, if you want to talk about a fantastic actress, if you've ever seen Risky Business, Rebecca De Mornay plays the prostitute in Risky Business next to Tom Cruise. In this one, she plays a completely different role. I mean, it's unbelievable how different she is in this movie compared to Risky Business. It displays what a fantastic actress she is. Geraldine Page won Best Actress for this, and I get emotional even thinking about this. Like, I can remember my mom like standing up and clapping, and F. Murray Abraham was the person that presented the award to her and said to the first lady of, you know, American theater, and he like bowed to her when he like handed her the Oscar and stuff like that. This movie like holds such strong memories between my mom and I. And I think even as I get older, this like sense of always wanting to like return to home. And home might not be a place. Home might not be a street. Home might not be a town. Home might be an idea. You know, home might be a feeling. And so this movie encompasses all of that. So this week's movie is Trip to Bountiful. I hope that you guys will watch it with me. This is one that you definitely do not want to miss if you've never seen it before. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.